My name is Tonya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media Report. It's entitled Anti-Vaxxers and Scamandla. Is it just me, or is the nation suffering from PTSD and burnout? I watch the news a bit like a robot. Very little emotion and even less interest. Hang on. This was when the anti-vaxxers lined up outside Groote Schuur. Let's see if these guys have a point. Perhaps I've been microchipped and turned into a Tulsa bot. They lined up, one Karen after another, shouting about Bill Gates and the microchip. One of these demonstrators was Kuthar Davids. She seems to suffer from memory loss because only a few months back she documented her COVID journey. Yet this week she's on tape saying that she doesn't believe that COVID exists. I never wanted to go there, but when a story like this presents itself, it's very difficult not to. A word with the anti-vaxxers, please. How on earth can you say that COVID doesn't exist when most of us have fallen ill to it and many of our nearest and dearest have died? How very dare you? You are insulting our intelligence and you are trampling on our graves. That's the first thing. Secondly, as for the Illuminati wanting to microchip us, I think we need to address this. Let's do just a simple walkthrough. That should do it. Let's assume you're right. The vaccine acts as a microchip. And then? Do we get served more relevant ads when Facebook or Microsoft or whoever you believe it is behind this hoax gets the world chipped? Is that even necessary, as the algorithms are already pretty good by working out what we most like and exactly what we do and don't need? Or did I miss it? Some are saying that it's a depopulation drive. If so, there are many, and by many I mean most, of the vaccinated people that are still alive. So that's not working too well, is it? Listen, South Africa can't fix a pothole, yet you believe they're going to exercise complete and effective mind control. Just look around you at how the politicians are on a merry-go-round to try and avoid axing, step-asides, and assassinations. I tell you what, look beyond SA. Look at the UK and the USA. Boris Johnson and Biden couldn't organize an exit from a war they were losing. How on earth are they going to coordinate a planet? The UK, to date, have over 30,000 infections a day. They have a lack of skilled workforce because of Brexit, and you expect Boris to control 7 billion people? Get out of here. He can't even comb his own hair. And Biden doesn't know who he is when he looks in the mirror. Take the vaccine, not that it will definitely work, but because it might work. And right now we are swimming upstream. And as if to prove my point, the youth 18 to 35 came out in their millions to take the jab. If anyone is awake about what's going on in this planet, it's these guys. Social media will not allow them to sleep, and even they think it's a good idea. Kuthar Davis, get in line, or very soon you won't be able to line up for anything. Vaccine passports or passes are a reality, and vaccine hesitancy is just slowing us down and will exclude you. We heard about the suggested no vaccine, no booze drive. What level of stupidity is that? I mean, really, it's like telling teenagers they need an ID card to get booze. That works, hey? Are you listening, Kuthar? These are the type of rules we are considering. Limpopo took out a campaign saying, no vax, no dating. I'm sure that will work, just like the quest to quell teenage pregnancy and the spread of HIV worked well too. Still there, Kuthar? We're not the only country plagued by naysayers, though. In Australia, they're offering $150 for you to have the vaccine. Now, that might just work in SA, except the vaccine taker knows they'll see the money in about 8 months, and when 70% of our youth are unemployed, I'm going to say that even that won't work in SA. The unemployment statistics read that 7 out of 10 of our educated youth are not gaining any workplace experience at all and cannot feed themselves. What are we doing here? building a nation of starvation. In total, 34% of the country haven't got jobs. That's 1 in every 3 that are eligible for work, and they simply cannot be accommodated. Poverty creates desperation. Desperation creates desperados. Here's a hot mess waiting to unfold. Then the crime stats came out, and guess what? There was no significant drop, even though we've been restricted for over 500 days. And of course, GBV takes first prize as always. This week, the media focused on the horrendous murder of Nosikelo, a murder most foul. Why do our men have to kill women with such hate? Does this happen anywhere else in the world? The hate is so bad that a woman is stabbed in her pregnant belly hanging from a tree. And now this. Nosikelo's body was chopped up and put into suitcases. What drives this? We are in a pandemic. We are in lockdown. You'd think there would be some positive impact on crime by barricading in a nation. Well, we were wrong. If anything, it's exasperated the gender-based violence statistics to such a level that we are proud owners of the first prize in GBV stats across the world. A badge our country seems quite blasé about wearing. Over 50,000 women in a year reported gender-based violence. That's about as many as died from COVID. This is a pandemic that has beset our country for decades. When will the women rise up and say enough? When will we see rocks that are our women say no more? Men are not going to do it for us, ladies. When will we see the government take us seriously? I remember years ago, a woman bearing her naked body to the president, showing her scars from abuse and begging him to help her. Yet here we are today, the country where women are most hated and most abused. Talking about women and the task to protect us, my personal worst, Batabile Dlamini, was finally charged with perjury. The news broke on the 24th of August, and on the 25th of August, she has COVID. This bunch don't even try to make their rubbish plausible. It is so contrived. It is a bad American soap opera that would only be carried on SABC1, and even then, only for one season. Can someone call the police to check on that COVID test? And while they're there, can they get the health report on Ubaba? Talking about Msholozi, I laughed. A real belly laugh. When I saw the post that I thought was a hoax, with Ubaba asking the nation to donate to his legal fees. He's opened a Capitec account for your donations. That's the bit that tickled me. We all know that Jay-Z has 11 teen bank accounts, and Capitec was never one of them. I have so many questions. Jacob, did you ask Dudizani for help? He has yachts in Dubai and rolls around in private jets. Did you ask Dali for a discount? I mean, really, he's defending all the ANC cronies. Surely there's a bulk discount for that level of work. Did you call it Tulo, AJ? Surely they owe you, buddy. You've said many times it was the Guptas, so call Dubai. Oh, what happened to that extradition treaty, by the way? Jacob, don't insult us by even looking our way for a donation. Are you quite mad? And why do you need legal representation anyway? I thought you said you're detained without trial. Surely the state will have to handle that bit. That'll be why you are now still in hospital, and your yet undisclosed illness of the sheikhs has yet to be resolved, and you have the cheek to ask us to pay more, and you use Capitec. Do you think we buy that? Really, I shook my head so hard, I got a headache. Speaking of Darlene Porfu, he accused the High Court judges of bias against Makashulu roughly the same time that the EFF presser was held, and Julius told us that the judges needed to earn our respect and they're not above us. The old Julius came out with a fire coming out of his mouth. He said there was no lockdown in the EFF and that they were campaigning hard. For what, Juju? Not one seat in the by-election, CRC. Just come out and say it. You, Floyd and Darlie We'll all be joining up with Zuma and Ace, just like the others, and your legal counsel has already done it. It's incredible what people will do for money, hey? Then the story broke. Babita Deokaran. She was gunned down outside her home in what can only be described as an assassination. She was a key witness in a PPE tender fraud debacle, and her final chilling words to the Katrada Foundation was, "Not all those in the health department are corrupt. Some of us are trying, but you see how they're dealing with us." We do see you, Dikaran. May your good work continue through others, and may justice prevail and retribution be yours. In other news, Fees Fall Kanyile was seen in the dock this week as one earmarked as an instigator of the insurrection. David Mabuzu has been raised from his Russian rendezvous. Mahoro resigned, and the big one, Judge Shlope, faces impeachment for his shuffling of cards during Zuma's reign. Of course, Becky Cele congratulated SAPS for a job well done during unrest, and then promptly was exposed without a mask at a birthday bash. There were also a meteor shower over Pretoria. The ANC staff have not been paid for ages and on strike. What does that even mean? The looters can't pay the looters? Scamandla. The planned unrest in Durban was postponed largely because they sent a press release saying they were going to do it. I mean, if we hadn't stopped that one, I think I might have stayed underwater permanently. Then, of course, Stain City got a heli stop for that pesky traffic on Kyalami Corner. And then just as you felt like you couldn't put another foot forward, Nando's came to the rescue. Scamandla, a creative work of pure genius. If you haven't seen it and all its spin-offs, it's included in the link of our story for you to enjoy. Thank you, Nando's, for always making the untenable situation look manageable to ordinary South Africans and for feeding us against the pandemic. That's more than the government did for our army, who's been waiting for over 2 weeks for their daily food allowance. Across the waters, the Paralympics opened. Kanye became and I'm not kidding, and 2021 killed the Stones. The death of Charlie Watts is a great warning for us. If the Stones go, we all go. See something beautiful this weekend, I beg of you. Remember the beauty of this fine country and its extraordinary people who are above politics and are still filled with tenacity in their political fatigue. My name is Tanya Curry, and this is this week's Acumen Media Report.